Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we have a good one here. It is the NASCAR trucks at the Circuit of America. That's right, we take these trucks to the winding track in Texas. First road course on the schedule for these guys, and it's going to be a doozy. 25 laps the distance. 2 laps of qualifying, best time in qualifying, we'll take it. And I tell you what, here with road course racing, you want to start as close to the front as you possibly can here. With practice just about to wrap up, let's take a look at some practice times. Max Terriel leads the way with that 17.56 over Zach Mitchell and Sean Butler rounding out the top three. We'll see if those boys can put in another lap here in qualifying as we get ready to turn them loose and see who can put up the best time with the pressure on. Qualifying underway, we will see who is one of the first trucks off pit road. Here we go. We got the 86 machine of James Skelton. So we will keep an eye on Skelton here as he has to go a very, very, very long outlap here tonight. So turn one, hairpin turn leading to that sweeping right-hander. Then we head through these very technical S's, is where we'll see some drivers try and get an advantage on the car in front of them, but not be able to make too much of a move until you get out here to head to a tight right-hander and then to the long kind of straightaway here in just 1 second. So here's kind of a longer straight here after that left-hander, and they'll head down to another hairpin, I believe turn 11 this one. I believe they have 17 turns here tonight at the Coda Speedway, and I tell you what, folks, gonna be very, very technical as this track, I believe, just under 3.5 miles in distance. Skelton about halfway through here tonight in his qualifying run. Qualifying run outlap, let me specify here, so has not taken the green flag. Will be one of the first trucks to put in a time if he continues to run and doesn't have to reset or anything. As you see him line up the rear tires here. That's going a little wide there. But you can see how technical this track is tonight for these drivers. A lot of memorization of brake zones, where you got to position your truck. And it's going to only get crazier once you put 20 plus trucks out here tonight. Turn one, I tell you what, folks, going to be a lot of fun to watch there. See how these drivers navigate, diving down into this turn one. But here we go. Skelton now done with the outlap here at the start-finish line. The 86 truck will be on the clock. Make that long climb up that hill into turn number one. Looks like we'll just miss the apex by like a quarter truck there, but looks like still got a good exit. This is where you want to be moving and grooving when it's qualifying time through these S's. And you can't cut it too short, let's say, because you got those kind of orange curbs that would definitely upset the truck, as well as they will give you a slowdown penalty. So any off tracks here in qualifying, the driver swings off too wide or whatever, can do it in the race, but here in qualifying, any sort of off track does disallow a lap. So these drivers going to have to be on the very edge, but also keeping this car on the racing surface at all times here in qualifying. Skelton looking very good here in qualifying. First half of the lap looking very solid for this 86 machine. We'll see if he can continue to string together the second half of the qualifying run. And don't worry, folks, this is only lap number 1 of 2 here in qualifying. Skelton almost done with the lap here. Has to go to the infield one more time as he will swing it there wide. Kept the lefts on the rumble strips. I believe that's still on track. As he'll head through the final right-hander on the speedway, then make his way to the 2 left. And here we go, James Skelton to the final straightaway. We will see what kind of lap he will throw down, but it seemed very smooth, and usually at road courses, smooth is fast, folks, as he puts in a time. As no, he didn't. Skelton did not put in a time there, so somewhere he went off track, and that time not allowed. So we'll go take a look now at the 88 Hellman's machine. This is Sean Butler on his first lap, so we'll catch the tail end of Butler's lap and see where he will end up. Right now, pole time going to the 8 with a 17.78, so pretty close to what he hit in practice. And Max Theriault crosses the line, only a 17.80. Sean Butler with a 20.17. So Zach Mitchell and Max Theriault in their own zip code here, as I would have to believe the first lap is where it's going to count here. These tires tend to degrade pretty quickly around road courses. One, just the length of the track, and two, these trucks are pretty hard on front tires. As now we take a look at the 2 machine of Michael Trevarthen. Trevarthen in the top 5 in practice times. We'll see what he can do in qualifying, approaching the halfway mark in his first time lap. Right now, 9 cars have taken a lap. Those 9 cars on the left side of your screen. We still have about a handful of cars still out on track that have not taken a lap. And I have a feeling, especially here at COTA, we'll see quite a few drivers not take a lap and elect to start at the back and just hit their marks and ride on around and try not to get in too much trouble, because only 25 laps here tonight and locally enforced yellows. So if you do get spun around, you got to get your truck facing in the right direction as quickly as possible to lose as little time. But we'll probably hear it at least in the post race a couple times, and it's usually my memo when I go to a road course is, hey, if we keep this car facing the right direction the whole time, keep it on the racetrack, you know, that's a win in my books. I'll end up where I end up. As Trevarthen to the front straightaway, we will look here. He will go P number 5 with a 20.31. I tell you what, those 20-second mark, very close time for about 5 drivers there, from Butler to William Kirk there in the 9. Looks like out on track we got the 81 machine. This is Ken Allen. Allen looking to get his first lap in the books in this 81 Lunchables machine. Allen will cross the stripe with a 22.51, so that puts him P number 13 at the moment. Here in lap number 2, Allen's going to look for a little bit more speed. As Allen now only car on the racetrack here tonight, so looks like everyone either happy with their time or already put in their 2 of 2 laps. Looks like the 86 machine of James Skelton was not able to put up a time, so either got an off track or something happened on both laps. So both lap times being disallowed for the 86. So he will start towards the back with the guys that do not qualify. As of course, you know, last week we went to one of the smallest tracks, I believe the smallest track on the schedule, that being a Martinsville. Now heading to one of the biggest tracks, that being the Circuit of America. So these drivers having to make a lot of accommodations, not only, of course, changing cars each and every week, but very diverse set of tracks here. And I tell you what, it's only gonna get better as you know. After tonight, we go to the Milwaukee Mile, Chicagoland Speedway, Kentucky, and then Talladega to finish up the regular season. So tonight, these drivers gonna start very much looking to those points. As here we go, folks, qualifying wrapped on up. Zach Mitchell walking away with the pole. So great lap from that number 8 crew. He will lead the field to the green flag. Alrighty, folks, let's go to the Celeratus Legal starting lineup. Zach Mitchell in that number 8 machine will lead the field to the green flag. Tis outside our points leader here, Max Terriel, in that 42 truck. Then rolling off P number 3 will be the 88 of Sean Butler. And two's outside, a great qualifying lap by this guy. It is Ryan O'Danny in the 98. Rounding out the top 5 will go to the 2 of Michael Trevarthen. Rolling off P number 6 will be the 62 of Ethan Troutman. 7th place going to William Kirk in the 9. Rolling off P number 8 will be the 01 of Richard Murdoch. Rolling off 9th will be Trent Potter in the 18. Rounding out the top 10 will be Dalton Williamson in that 61 machine. Dalton picking up his first Monday night win last week. He will start mid-pack here tonight. Rolling off P number 11 will be the 11 car, very nice, of Sean Single. Rolling off P number 12 will be the 38 of Brandon Feeney. 13th will be Ken Allen in the 81. 14th, Jason Wells in the 64. 15th going to James Skelton in that 86. 16th will be Josh Buckley in the 13. 17th will be the 17 car. Hey, twice in one lineup. That's pretty sweet. That's the 17 of Tim Combs. 18th will be Ben Coltes in the 45. 19th will be the 40 of Rob Higgins. 20th will be the 30 of Bob Higgins. Then starting shotgun on the field tonight will be the number 3 truck of Tony Strano. And that will do it for tonight's Celeratus Legal starting lineup. Here we go, folks. Luckily not pacing around for a full lap so we can get to some racing action here in a hurry. But I tell you what, 20 plus trucks here tonight at the Circuit of the Americas. It's gonna be a good one. As here we go to the front stretch, Zach Mitchell in that red number 8 machine leading the field down into turn number 1. He will wait a bit to jump on the loud pedal. Here we go, green flag out. We are racing here at the Circuit of Americas. Good start by Max Terriel, able to go side by side with Mitchell. Here we go now, folks, down into turn number 1. And there goes a car around. That's the 9 of William Kirk, able to get that thing righted pretty quickly, but everyone else having to take evasive maneuvers 3-4 wide as everyone is sort of sorted out here tonight. Field making their way through the S's here. Looks like everyone able to navigate this pretty safely. As Zach Mitchell's still out in front, these guys finally sorted themselves out, but William Kirk, even though spinning here on lap number 1 usually spells a ton of trouble, he only fell 6 spots, so it looks like that truck's still looking halfway decent, so not too much damage to that genuine draft Miller number 9 machine, as he looks to go on the offensive here, getting down to the 81 and the 38, a little 2-for-1. Has a little bit of contact there getting off that corner, but what a brave move by Kirk, able to make it stick, and he will get a little bit of clean air here. So wasting no time trying to get back into that top 10. Now Kirk sits P number 11, as it looks like Brandon Feeney looking to the inside. Very hard braking zone there. These drivers having to tiptoe around this speedway. Out in front though, Zach Mitchell continuing to lead the way, looking to lead this first lap. Max Terrio hanging on to second, Sean Butler third, Ryan O'Danny fourth, Michael Trevarthen rounding out the top 5. Top 5 staying exactly the same as how they started. Back onto the front straightaway for the first time here in the race. Zach Mitchell will lead lap number 1, and he's going to try and create a little bit of breathing room over the rest of the field, of just about 3/4 of a second advantage over Max Terrio. But we will have to see who's playing the long games, who's saving their tires, who's getting after it, as we see William Kirk to the inside of Trent Potter. That's for P number 10. Kirk will drive on through. Potter will fall to P number 11. Further on back, one truck a little bit slow. Looks like James Skelton. Skelton's still back in the 16th position here tonight. Has one car a little off in the S's. That's a 38 Brandon Feeney. Now I'll keep an eye on this 38 because those S's are usually pretty strict when it comes to off tracks, tending to give drivers slowdowns after that. So I'll keep an eye on this 38 machine, see if he slows in one of these straightaways or not. Looks like right now it's still on the loud pedal here tonight. As Feeney can't really afford to slow on up too much because he has that 64 Alienware machine of Jason Wells breathing down his neck here, as Wells now looking to pass the 38. So Wells to the inside, Feeney to the outside, as Feeney able to drive it in there a little bit deeper and does hang on to the spot from Wells. Trying to keep an eye on everyone in this field tonight, as I'm getting a lot of dings on the off track here in my commentator box, but luckily everyone able to keep it facing the right direction here. I think we'll see a lot of drivers flirting with those track limits throughout this race, just trying to keep as much momentum as possible, as we see the 86 machine of Skelton going around the 17, and a little bit of lockup as he almost gets in the back of Ken Allen. Last time by though, best truck on track will be the number 8 of Zach Mitchell. Mitchell able to throw it down in 18.97, so only truck in the 18s at the moment. As we see Skelton get around Allen, here comes Tim Combs looking. They also have Ben Coltis as well, as Coltis tries the crossover there off the exit of turn number 1. So a lot of smart racing from these guys. Only one kind of little incident here tonight as we see William Kirk continue to cut his way back up through the field. Now the 9 car back into P number 9, only 2 spots down from where he started. So William Kirk, a man on a mission, looking to get back those spots he lost there on lap number 1. As out in front, we'll take a look at the race leaders here tonight. Zach Mitchell continuing to lead the way over Max Theriault. Sean Butler kind of falling back just a little bit, but you got to be wondering, is Butler saving these tires, letting these leaders kind of push each other to a little bit faster pace than what Butler thinks might be the winning move by the end of the race? Because I think if these drivers have to come down pit road, I think we will see them once down pit road. I would have to bet these drivers not going to take tires if they can help it. So across the line, the race leaders go. Here we go to 22 to go. And with that, let's get a track map going on the right side of the screen. You can see where your favorite drivers. You can see a lot of overlapping cars here in this right around 5th to 10th place here tonight. Dalton Williamson now under fire from the number 9 of Kirk Williamson, of course, picking up his first Monday night win last week at Martinsville. Played the strategy absolutely perfect, and right now running in the top 10 on a road course. Pretty good battle forming up here between Kirk, Single, and Trent Potter. All of these cars pretty much under a blanket here, at least in road course terms. These guys kind of making up the back of the front pack. Then from 12th on back, being led by Brandon Feeney, they're kind of in their own group of cars as well. As we see Williamson there get a little out of sorts. These drivers gonna have to be cautious not to light up these rear tires too often, because you can lose drive in a, well, I should say you can lose forward drive in a hurry if you start lighting up these rear tires, getting them a little too hot than what the tires would like. As we see Kirk continuing to put the pressure on Williamson for this 8th position. Here goes Kirk looking to the inside. He will get a nose down drag race down the front straightaway. But it looks like Williamson on that wider exit able to put down the power a lot better. Wow, Williamson able to gap Kirk about 3 car lengths as Kirk will go the aggressive, very late on the brakes, and they don't make contact. Wow, that was a move by William Kirk there. Kind of shades, if anyone watching any F1, you know, some prior Daniel Ricciardo break-in with the trust on that brake pedal from this number 9 machine here tonight. As, oh man, almost contact into the S's. Williamson had to kind of readjust the car there right before the apex, and Kirk having to get on the binders, and here comes Sean Single once again into the mix. I think we got to ride on board with Kirk, see what he is seeing, as he just now goes to the inside of Williamson right on board. with William Kirk here tonight. So Dalton Williamson there with a spin. He will lose 3 spots now for Kirk, Single, and Potter. So that is a tough break for the 61 machine here. Now let's jump on board. See Sean Single looking at the back bumper now of the number 9 machine. You can see these drivers starting to get loose on corner exit. You can see just how patient and disciplined this track makes you. I mean, very, very flat corners, a lot of sweeping corners with quite a bit of hairpins after, and that makes for a lot of discipline behind the wheel of these road courses. For some guys that don't like road courses, this race is going to feel very, very long to them. As you'll see, we'll ride on board with Sean for another second, see this elevation change into turn number 1. It is a big hill you got to climb and then get sent right back down it off of turn number 1. So in the 20 to go mark here tonight already. 5 laps already in the books as one car got a big piece of curb. I think that was the 18 machine of Trent Potter going 3-wheeling just for a second, almost looking like a trophy truck when they come to these road courses. But out in front, Zach Mitchell has seen open racetrack all night long, though Max Theriault has been kind of keeping the pressure on him anywhere from a second to half a second back, and Sean Butler here has closed up to these race leaders. So we may have a 3-car battle on our hands before we know it. Butler definitely took it easy on those opening laps trying to save those tires, and now looks like having some great pace compared to the cars around him. Only car in the 22nd mark still. As we'll keep an eye on the times when they hit the stripe for 19 to go, but it seems like with the gaps how they're looking, I think Sean Butler's still going to be the fastest truck on the racetrack here this lap as well. Here we go to the final corner. I'll keep an eye on the lap times here as you see Theriault get a little bit loose trying to put the power down to the long straightaway as they continue to click in laps. And yeah, that time pretty much all similar laps for the top 3 there, within a 1/10 of each other. So it is kind of evened on out for the most part. I'll go highlight a driver, you know, having some up and downs here, leading the incident count or off tracks here tonight. That going to the 61 of Dalton Williamson. 6 laps in the race, already 23 off tracks here tonight, so leading that by a pretty good margin. On the other side of the scale, a driver that has not left the racing surface all night long yet is the 42 machine of Max Theriault. So Theriault able to keep that truck on the racing surface and doing a great job at it. Still hanging on to P number 2 here as the top 3 once again getting a little bit more spread out. Maybe Zach Mitchell listening to the broadcast, hearing the times of the cars around him, picking up the pace here this lap. Further on back, we got a battle here between Rob Higgins and the 13 of Josh Buckley. Higgins in that number 40 machine. Buckley in chase here. And if they keep up their pace, Bob Higgins may join in this battle in just a few laps. So Buckley could be in between a Higgins sandwich before he knows it. Further up here, we see William Kirk and Trent Potter here duking it on out. Sean Single able to get around Kirk. Now Potter trying to do the same, not quite able to get the job done there. He will try and set up the 9 at a different time. As the leaders will hit the stripe here. Looks like everyone's still out on the raceway except for the 86 machine of James Skelton. Skelton, the first car out here tonight. And a tough break for the 86. Will have to walk away with a 21st finishing position. Here we see a battle, a pretty quick battle at that for the P number 16, Jason Wells, able to quickly get around Tony Strano. And Wells on a different strategy here tonight, already down pit road once, so Wells trying to short pit and try and run it out from this point. A one car stop there in turn number 1. That's the 38 of Brandon Feeney. Feeney now dropping back to, it looks like, P number 14. Let's see what happened to the 38 machine. So Feeney going down here into turn number 1, has the 45 right on his tail, and I would have to guess maybe not contact, as we will have to see when it comes time to turn into the corner. And yeah, it looks like Feeney just having just a smidge too much rear brake, got those rear tires locked up, and that car coming around very quickly. So now Feeney not only has to try and make up those spots, but take care of those rear tires, because those things are going to be blistering hot after a spin. Here we go, just on the outskirts of the top 5, a 3-car battle forming on up. This is between the 98 of O'Danny, 62 of Troutman, and here comes Richard Murdoch in the 01 machine trying to go around the long way on the 62. Murdoch able to complete the pass on Ethan Troutman. Now will try and set his sights on the 98 of Ryan O'Danny. So Murdoch trending in the right direction, moving up 2 spots. The biggest mover so far, though, here tonight is this 45 machine of Ben Coltes, up 6 spots from where he started. So the 45 Traxxas machine looking pretty good. And here we go, folks. Some strategy here tonight. Zach Mitchell, our race leader, down on pit road, and here goes Sean Butler for the race lead. Butler will drive it in there deep in contact with Max Theriault. Theriault will go around here. Butler will drive on through, and Michael Trevarthen will even maybe sneak by the 42. Looks like not. These two will drag race into the S's, but Theriault probably not going to be too pleased with that 82 machine if they get around each other on track again. Looks like pit cycle underway here tonight. A lot of cars down, about 5 of them or so. So now with Theriault getting a off track, not really of his own doing, we now have no cars that have not gone off track at least once here tonight. Theriault, I'll tell you what, going to be a man on a mission now. If I was a betting man, I would have to say we will see the other half of the field come on down pit road, and looks like a good amount of drivers did take 4 tires and fill it up with that virtual Sunoco race fuel. Further on back here, some side-by-side racing, 3-car battle between Brandon Feeney, Rob Higgins, and Josh Buckley. Feeney on newer tires, able to drive around those guys for the most part. Let's take a look at the track map. I forgot to mention, folks, with the track map, whatever car we're looking at will be highlighted with that lime green. So, of course, right now looking at that 42 machine of Max Theriault. I would have to guess we see the top three jump down pit road this time by. As if you can see sometimes a little red circle flash up around cars. That is those drivers going off track, as we see Theriault and Trevarthen both dive down pit road. Sean Butler will stay out another lap, so Butler will at least lead a lap here tonight. As trouble getting to pit road. That's the 01 machine of Richard Murdoch. I think didn't get the barrels, but had to lock him up big time to not miss pit road. So we'll lose a little bit of time, but we'll still at least have the race car to continue to race here tonight. Zach Mitchell down and away. He will now have a pretty comfortable lead over Max Theriault, because Theriault that last time having a spin off the exit of turn number 1. So we see the gap between them about 9 seconds. As we see most cars down on pit road and making their way back onto the racing surface. Only cars that have not been down pit road yet, that being our race leader, Sean Butler. Ethan Troutman in the 62 machine has not been down yet. Neither has, looks like, the 45 of Ben Coltes has not been down pit road yet either. Here we go, battle for P number 11. He not up as Murdoch trying to get around the 9 of William Kirk. Oh, it looks like Ethan Troutman, maybe not, as we got to go back to that battle. As I thought I saw Ethan Troutman crash there. It looks like he able to keep that car rolling in the 62. Looks like Kirk able to get a little bit of space to Murdoch for that battle for P number 11, but they can see the cars in front of them. They got to chase on down. As this time by, Sean Butler will click on over to 15 laps to go, and we got to keep an eye on Zach Mitchell, where he is on track compared to that 88 machine. As Butler in his stall, we'll have to see how close of a race it is heading into turn number 1. As not too close of a race at all, as Butler down and away, but Butler now has some tire advantage here. He has about 2 lap newer tires than our race leader and a lap newer tires than Max Theriault out in front of him. If these two get close to each other on track, I think we got to throw the camera on that battle for second. As now with pit stops about complete, once the 45 gets rolling back on the speedway, it looks like most cars spread on out here tonight. One battle kind of going on here. Ethan Troutman, though, just off of pit road, so Troutman just trying to get those tires warmed on up to temp, and then we'll probably try and run down the 11 of Sean Single. As no Trent Potter with those tires already warmed up on the 18 machine. He's looking to maybe put some pressure on the back bumper of the 62. As kind of from Max Terriel to the 64 of Jason Wells, you know, all between those cars just making it through this final sector here. These guys, you know, one mistake and they could fall quite a bit of spots. The top 10 still fairly condensed here tonight. Zach Mitchell away with a healthy lead at the moment. Max Terriel hanging on to second. Sean Butler third. Michael Trevarthen up into P number 4. Ryan O'Danny in P number 5. 6 going to the 11 of Sean Singles. 7th place runner is Ethan Troutman. 8th Trent Potter. 9th is the 9 car William Kirk. And the 01 of Richard Murdoch rounding out the top 10 here. As we see Ethan Troutman still being hounded by the 18 of Trent Potter. Let's ride on board with the 62 machine, looking back at the 18. As I say that, I believe we have a big time incident on the speedway, so we're gonna go try and go to that quick. As I believe these cars may have got together, we will take a look here at the replay. Or maybe my software just had too many Texas-sized drinks here tonight. As no, there it is, Buckley going on around. Kind of similar to Feeney, not in the same corner, but a little bit too much rear brake in that 13 machine going on around, losing about 3 seconds to those trucks in front of him. As we got a battle for P number 6, heating on up. Sean Single now being under fire and letting Ethan Troutman go on by, so pretty easy pass for Troutman there, as Sean Single will try and let him go cleanly there, try not to lose too much time. We head back up to this battle. Some of the best battles on the speedway is this 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. All these guys within about 2 seconds in total time of each other. So we'll keep an eye on these guys, see how they work themselves out. As a whole bunch of tire strategy. For the most part, these drivers pitting on either lap 8 or 9. Ethan Troutman having the newest tires of this bunch. Troutman out in front. I would have to think, as long as no big mistakes from the 62, he should be able to drive on away. Here we go, battle for P number 7 as William Kirk all over the back bumper of the 11. Let's try and get on board with the 11, see what Kirk is seeing and trying to navigate on back. As with this here comes the 18 of Trent Potter. That tracks his machine right there as well. You saw Sean Single there kind of hanging out the back end just a little bit, trying to carry as much speed down these long straightaways, try and give himself a little bit of breathing room. It seems like William Kirk very trusting on the brakes. You see him now dive down to the inside here under that hard braking. Looks like Kirk does get on by now. Trent Potter all over the back bumper of this 11 machine. at the stripe. We go down to 12 to go. So halfway down, halfway home in tonight's race at the Circuit of the Americas. As Zach Mitchell was great down on pit road, great on off, and I tell you what, put in some great lap times, able to increase his lead to about 5 seconds over Max Theriault. Of course, Theriault and Butler get into a little bit of contact. That not helping their times or their efforts on trying to catch the race leader. So Zach Mitchell looking for his first win of the season. Right now here coming into tonight, Mitchell sits tied with 5th in points with Chris Hammett. So if Mitchell can pick up the win by the end of this one, that of course locks him into the playoffs. A little bit loose there on corner entry. Mitchell just needs to keep hitting his marks. Don't do anything crazy because it is his race to lose at the moment. Like I was saying, folks, if he wins here tonight, that locks him on in and makes 4 different winners now. And of course, these drivers fighting for those top 12 spots by the end of the regular season. And we are already into the second half of this season. We will start to take a look at the lap times because with now 11 laps to go, these drivers putting on quite a bit of laps on these tires here. As last time by, Zach Mitchell 21.72, Max Theriault with a 21.0, and then Sean Butler with a 20.55. So these cars behind our race leader definitely picking up the pace, but can it be enough here? They still got some time on their hands. Over 10 laps still left to go in tonight's race. Further on back, Trent Potter did get around the 11 of Sean Single. Now Richard Murdoch might be trying to get around this 11 before we know it. Jason Wells down on pit road for the final time here tonight, so we'll have to see how that strategy works on out because Wells definitely short pitted that first stint. Down for the final time here tonight, I believe. As 01 car big time off in turn number 1. That is the 81 machine of Ken Allen. Not sure if he had to make evasive maneuvers because Jason Wells was just coming out of pits at that time. So not sure what happened between them, but both of them able to face in the right direction. As there we go, Richard Murdoch around Trent Potter for P number 9 here tonight. Further up front, we got to keep an eye on this battle as the field will approach 2 open palms from the flag man. That's right, folks. 10 laps to go as Sean Butler has closed in the gap to Max Theriault. We will see how these two can race around each other in the closing stages of tonight's race. As we see Butler doing the undercut, he will be the first of the leaders to head down pit road for the final time here tonight. So Butler's going to try the undercut, try and really push the new set of tires that 88 machine will slap on. Zach Mitchell Max Terrio got to be talking with their spotters, knowing that the 88 down on pit road, so they will probably be down here pretty soon. I mean, Mitchell last down about 8 laps ago already. As now Richard Murdoch all over the back bumper of Sean Single. This could be a battle here shaping on up before we know it. Single, a little bit of lockup with that left front going into turn number 1. Murdoch gonna have to try and get this pass done before the S's, as here they go side by side through the S's. They somehow make that stick, but quickly down to single file as Murdoch had a limited window to try and get around the 11. Now having quite a bit more opportunities to try and reel back in the 11. See Trent Boddard trying to drive the wheels off that 18 machine, trying to stick with these two in case something happens, or if he can maybe get around one of these trucks. You see Single once again, a little bit of tire smoke from that left front, so he's got to be a little bit more careful on the braking, and that's allowing some doors to be open for the 01 machine. '61 of Williamson may had a little bit of an issue, but able to get that car back rolling. We head back up to this battle for now 8th as we see our race leader Zach Mitchell down on pit road. Looks like Max Terrio will stay out another lap, stay according to his plan, so we will have to see how that shakes on out. As I hear from the spotter chatter here, Sean Single down on pit road this time. I have to see if he brings along the 2 cars behind him or not. Looks like not. So Single in the 11 will head down a busy pit road. That will see also O'Danny, Troutman, and Kirk. So Sean Butler with the undercut, able to get out just in front of Zach Mitchell, but Butler trying a little bit of strategy. I'd like to see, I believe, just fuel only for the 88, so that's how he made up those 5 seconds on pit road, and I like the call here, going for the checkered flag. Both these drivers have not won this season, so a lot riding on the line, especially for Butler, because Butler, I believe, sitting in the points right around the cutoff line. Yeah, he sits P number 11, so if Butler can pick up a win, that puts a ton of pressure off his shoulders for the second half of this regular season. Butler only sitting about 6 points above the cutoff line. As we got to keep an eye on this. Whoa, Zach Mitchell with a brave move, but Mitchell goes around. That was a bold move on the brakes, but you saw that car just step out from underneath him, and that may be his shot. We'll have to see if he can put in the race pace to get around Sean Butler, but we'll take a look at it here one more time as he'll dive down, and yeah, just too much speed, too much wheel, and that thing snaps right around on him. So Mitchell now sits about 3.5 seconds back from Sean Butler. We have to see how Max Terrio rolls off of pit road. Looks like Ethan Trevarthen will stay out for another lap, so Trevarthen probably picking up a bonus point for leading a lap. Here we go, battle for the race lead. We'll see if Terrio does do that no tire strategy to try and make up that extra 5 seconds. Looks like not, He's still down on pit road, finally rolling out of his box. Looks like we'll come out in the P number 4 spot here at the moment. Very machine of Bob Higgins runs it really wide. Get on out of the way. You love to see the sportsmanship by the drivers here with the Checkered Flag Auto Supplies Monday Night Scrambler Series. Here's a battle here for position. The 9 of Kirk and Williamson right now battle for about P number 8 when it's all said and done. Kirk with the inside lane. Dalton Williamson on the outside. Looks like Williamson will let Kirk drive it in there deep. Will get clear, so William Kirk back up to P number 8 here tonight. Further up front in the running order here, Ethan Troutman once again being hounded. As actually Ethan Troutman just getting around Ben Coltes, as Coltes still has not visited pit road for the second time. Same with our race leader at the moment, Michael Trevarthen. As I am already getting all sorts of confused here at COTA. Is it time to go back to an oval, folks? As this time by, we should see the number 2 machine dive down on pit road. And look at this, folks. Zach Mitchell once again side-by-side battling with Sean Butler. So Mitchell within a lap and a half, let's say, if not even that, already back to the back bumper of the 88. You got to be thinking Butler saving those tires big time. Mitchell saying, hey, I want this race lead to make you work to get around me when it comes that time. Looks like Sean Butler maybe turning up the intensity just that little bit, try and make the 8 really work to get around him here. But these guys got to be careful. They can't play around with each other too much, because that allows the 42 and Max Theriault with those fresher tires than both of them to really quickly eat into that gap. So Zach Mitchell down to the inside will get around Butler. Does Butler have enough for a crossover? It looks like no. So Zach Mitchell back to the point even with the mistake. You got to wonder though, how will these tires be feeling in about 6 laps? While the front got themselves sorted on out, we see the 61 of Dalton Williamson dive down pit road. Jason Wells with that alternate strategy sitting just inside the top 10 now in P number 10. So Wells making up some positions with that alternate strategy. You gotta wonder though, he's going to be on the oldest tires out on the speedway. How will that fare for this 64 machine? It looks like the next closest battle going to be between these 4 trucks on the speedway. That be an 11 of Sean Single, 64 Jason Wells, the 1 of Richard Murdoch, and the 18 of Trent Potter. So these guys, seems like all night, have been racing around each other, putting on a great show for us to watch. As Jason Wells, big time wiggle from the 64 machine. He will let these trucks go on by. I think we got to ride on board with Trent Potter, see what he is seeing out here. Maybe try a little bit of a lap around the circuit of the Americas with a truck in front of you. That always makes it a little bit more difficult. And Trent Potter able to roll the brakes there beautifully and then light up the rear tires big time as he continues to put the pressure on the 01 machine. But here we go. Let's take a ride around a lap of the Circuit of the Americas, riding on board with the 18 of Trent Potter. You guys can see these trucks aren't glued to this racing surface. These drivers having to wheel these trucks and kind of almost manhandle them there, either under braking or trying to put the power down here tonight. Here we go, that crossed the stripe there for Potter last time by 20.73. A pretty solid lap there, but both cars in front of him also in the 20 seconds. As you see the late apex you got to hit for that turn 1 hairpin. Then we head into the sweeping section of Coda here. Very, very technical, as you can carry some decent speed through, but you gotta be able to hit your marks and not hit them too aggressively, as Potter gets a little bit of that turtle there. These things, unlike the Cup cars, you know, not the sequential shifting, so if these guys are trying to be as realistic as possible, these guys banging gears with their H patterns here tonight. As we see Potter now into the final section out in front. Max Terrill did get around Sean Butler. We'll look at a replay. It's Potter big time kind of four-wheel drifting it there. As we will have to see how that pass was done, as we see Butler down on pit road here. Interesting there. We'll have to see if his night may be done, maybe having some extensive damage to that 88. Here we go to the final left-handers that make up the Circuit of the Americas. This battle still raging on between these three cars. Potter had to drive a little bit wide not to get in the back bumper of the 01, and you can see the time that you lose just by barely not hitting your marks. So yeah, Butler back off of pit road all the way back in P number 7. So let's take a look here, see what happened to Sean Butler. Butler already passed by Max Terrill, so looks like just looped it on his own, just trying to get down that power a little bit too much, and probably slapped on some fresh tires to that 88 machine. Butler now running in the P number 7 spot. But out in front, Zach Mitchell leading the way. Last time by was faster than Max Terrill, but Terrill kind of holding that 3.5 second gap to our race leader. As this time by for the number 8 machine, we will see 4 laps to go. Still over 12 miles of racing left, so anything can be possible, but at least down inside of 5 laps to go. As last time by, Max Terrill about a second quicker than the race leader, so Terrill trying to eat into the gap, but yeah, I wonder how much more tire that 42 has. Looks like tonight the 13 of Josh Buckley, another early retiree. So still having 19 cars out on the speedway clicking off laps here inside of 4 laps to go. Here we go. We see Sean Butler working his way through the field, getting around the 9 of Kirk, and maybe an optimistic move, but able to get the nose to the inside of the 90 of O'Danny. Is Butler trying to race his way back into the top 5 here tonight? As Butler maybe said, you know, he didn't take tires, try and make up that time. Maybe he saw the pace deficit and said, you know what, I need to take these tires, and able to keep the bleeding from being too bad. As Butler continues to try and close on the back bumper of O'Danny. Butler, a lot newer tires than the rest of the field here. You will look to the inside into the hard braking zone into this last stage of the lap, but think better of it as O'Danny able to get on the brakes very, very well there, able to hold on to the spot. As that time by now for our race leaders, we see 3 laps to go. Max Darrow able to close in the gap to about 3 seconds, so at this pace he won't have enough, as Butler all over the back bumper of O'Danny here. Butler gonna try and get his nose in on the crossover move. Looks like he will. They'll go side by side into these final 2 left-handers. Looks like O'Danny will let him on go. You know, he has to race, let's say, the 9 of Kirk behind him. As now Butler gonna have a good gap to try and make up to the 62 of Ethan Troutman. Michael Trevarthen in the 2, running P number 3, kind of in his own zip code, just making sure he hits his marks, make sure nothing crazy happens. And then the front 2 within right around 2.5 seconds of each other. As Max Terrell continues to try and close the gap here. Further on back, these guys have been battling, like I said, all race long. Richard Murdoch now trying to put the pressure once again on Sean Single. And Trent Potter, of course, right there as well. So a good gaggle of cars here on the speedway in the closing laps, just inside of the top 10 here. As we see Single maybe trying to get around the lapper. Looks like the 40 of Rob Higgins staying out of the way, but out in front for Zach Mitchell. Seeing popsicle sticks from the flag man. That is right, folks. 2 laps to go here tonight. As Murdoch now all over the back bumper of Single is a battle for P number 8. As race lead down within 2 seconds with 2 laps to go. It could be a barn burner by the end of this one, folks. As these guys now get 2 laps to go for this battle on the speedway. Single has put on a masterclass of how to defend. And Murdoch definitely a little bit braver on the brakes there into turn number 1. But Single is still worrying about that corner exit speed, and that is what's saving that number 11 machine from being under fire much more from the 01. Battle for P number 4, kind of heating on up. Sean Butler driving back through the field here tonight. Butler up to the back bumper of Troutman and now to the inside of Troutman. Troutman will let him go on by. So Sean Butler back into P number 4. So even with that extra pit stop, only a net loss of 1 spot. And here we go to the final corner. Zach Mitchell will see the Feeney Call white flag here tonight. One more lap to go around the Circuit of the Americas. Gap within 1 second of the race lead. So we're going to keep an eye on this because it could be a barn burner before the end of this one, folks. Mitchell gonna have to hit his marks perfectly as Terrill a lap newer tires than the 8. Through the S's, our race leaders come for the final time here tonight. Terrill a little bit better through the S's, able to now reach in within half a second here, folks. Coming up to one of the passing zones, is hard braking into this left-hander here. Will we see Terrill make a move or wait till the next left-hander after this next long straightaway? Terrill definitely there, will set up Mitchell. A little bit wider entry, going to try and get a straighter run off, and they are within a car length of each other, folks. Here we go. This is why we bought our admission tickets. It's about to get wild. Half a lap to go. Max Terrill all over the back bumper. Goes to the outside here into the braking zone. We saw Mitchell once here lose that back end. Able to hang on to this time, but then gets sideways. Terrill will bang doors. These two racing their hearts out as Zach Mitchell goes on around. No, he saves it. What a save, but that allows Max Terrill to go on by Zach Mitchell. Gotta be heartbroken with that one. He's gonna get one more opportunity, but Mitchell, those rear tires begging for mercy. Looks like he will watch this race drive on away from him. As through the final couple corners, the race leaders come. Man, what a race. Coming down to the final lap there, as Max Terrill just has to hit one more corner, and that he will do. Off of the final corner, Max Terrill gonna pick up another win this season, this time tonight at the Circuit of the Americas. Zach Mitchell, a hard-fought effort, looks like we'll bring it home. P number 2, he's got to be heartbroken. As we head back a little bit further, Sean Single all over the back bumper of William Kirk. This could be a battle before the finish of this race. Single tried the crossover there, just mistimed it. He's going to have one more good opportunity, and that is going into this final left-hand to try and get around the number 9. Looks like we'll get up to the back bumper, and not quite enough. William Kirk able to hang on there for that position. As those guys will send it on home a little bit further back. Here's Jason Wells. Looks like gonna bring the 64 machine with that alternate strategy here tonight. Down in P number 11, still better than where he started. And then tonight's biggest mover right behind him, Ben Coltes. Looks like as long as he can finish here to the start finish line, yes he does, he will bringing home 6 spots better than where he started, up to P number 12. As we get the final finishers across the stripe here, but Max Theriault picking up another win. This is now win number 3 on the season. As most everyone across the stripe here, so we'll get ready for the Claws Up Charters post-race show. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back here.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we head back to the Circuit of the Americas with the Claws Up Charters post-race show. And first, we'll be dialing up our third place finisher, that being Mike Trevarthen. Mike, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Brett, long time no talk, brother.
I know it's been a minute. How you doing, and how you feeling after 25 laps here around COTA?
A little wore out after that one, man. Like I said, we don't do a whole lot of road course racing on this side of the pond, so really surprising to get a top 3 out of this one. It was a 4th place car at best. Not sure what happened to Sean there, but hats off to Max and Zach for putting in a good race there.
Yeah, I tell you what, a great battle there on the white flag lap. And yeah, Mike, I tell you what, you able to hit your marks, no real big mistakes, and that's got to feel pretty good walking away from a road course because, like you said, not most of you guys' specialties.
No, it pretty much comes down to who makes the least amount of mistakes, especially for a bunch of oval, group drivers. Like I said, I'm not very good at these road courses. I'd probably lean more towards Sonoma or Watkins Glen, Canadian Tire, something more NASCAR suited than this newer track here. It's probably my second time racing this track. But yeah, with this group here, like I said, I know I'm not the fastest guy, obviously, in these on the road courses, but it's minimize the mistakes, keep it on the track, and like I said, you'll produce a good finish, and that's pretty much what we're looking at here.
Yep, and you definitely did that here, but you definitely had some top 5 speed. I mean, where did you find the speed here tonight to end up on the podium? Because you definitely had to figure out something here for COTA.
Well, last night we did a practice race, and me and Skelton and Johnson were, kind of duking it out for the entire, whatever it was, 12, 15 laps last night. And I think just us settling in a 3-car group for an entire, session, I think, gave me a little more confidence in certain corners where maybe I was tiptoeing too much. And I think it, showed up tonight on the board. So we're happy with it.
Yeah, I gotta be happy. And I don't know how much point racing you're doing or looking at the points, but now in the second half of the season, you're just outside the cutoff line. But with a good finish here tonight, I believe you should be within that top 12. And how are you feeling about points now with, I believe, 4 races left in the regular season?
Yeah, a little different this year than in past years. Usually, I'm top six, top eight in the points throughout most of the season. I've had some really just rough races. Some of them hardware issues, some of them driving issues. I can't really lay blame on anybody outside of myself or a hardware night. So, like I said, I'm always points chasing, but we've kind of gotten ourselves on the outside looking in this year, and that's pretty much what it's going to take is what we did tonight for the next couple of races. Obviously a win would lock me in, but we're going to give it our all right up until the chase cutoff there and see where we fall.
Yeah, I tell you what, 4 races left, gonna be a doozy. But how you feeling next week as we head back to kind of a shorter track? Not quite a short track, but it definitely drives like one. That being the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, we're good at the short tracks. Race works pretty quick wherever we unload, especially the short track. So we're excited for that. Arca car is a little bit different, but I think it would suit mine and Dalton's driving style. So like I said, we're expecting a top five for next week.
Yeah, and that's exactly what you need to do, like you said, for the rest of the season to make sure you give yourself a little bit of breathing room on that points cutoff line. But Mike, I like to ask first time talking to people in the booth, what's your sim setup like? What do you got for wheel and pedals, and maybe what are you looking at?
I run a Fanatec direct drive. Same with the pedals, V3, not non-inverted. Um, Fanatec shifter, button box, Alienware computer. Like I said, graphics cards were getting so hard to find there. I ended up having to settle with an Alienware because it was built in. So with a 3080, so triple monitors, and yeah, we love it.
Yeah, I tell you what, can't go too wrong with a nice Fanatec setup, and the triple monitors helped you a ton, especially with some short track racing action, being able to see those cars around you.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, Mike. Well, congrats on the first podium here tonight. Hopefully, you keep this momentum rolling into this later part of the regular season. But before we let you go, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, either on the 2 car, maybe watching, who's watching at home.
First and foremost, Rev Esports, Josh Buckley, Dalton Williamson, for the work we put in on these cars. The Josh and the admins at Red Light Racing, they put on a great league here. Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's you, Brett, or Roger in the booth, like I said, you guys do a great job. I want to give a big shout out to my family. Melinda is my wife, and then Jack, Brennan and Justin, which are my boys. I know they watch sometimes, so like I said, I want to give a shout out to the family.
Alrighty, Mike. Well, pleasure talking to you again here. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you a couple more times before the end of the season. But you have yourself a great night, and I'm sure you'll be walking away with some smiles after tonight with Coda.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. That was our third place finisher, Mike Trevarthen, in the number 2. Then we head up to our runner-up finisher, that being Zach Mitchell. Zach, do you got a copy?
Yep.
Alrighty, man. This one's got to be a little bit hard for you, but overall, a great race there. Qualifying with the pole, having a lot of speed, but man, coming down to the last lap, tell us about your race.
It was pretty good. I had the strategy worked out to short pit the 2 stints on Max to gain some time. Trying to get by Sean after he short pitted me, I spun, which cost me about probably 4 to 5 seconds because I wasn't there very long. Which, when you lose by 1.3 seconds, that comes to haunt you. So I'll be thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, that you will, Zach, and a tough break for that to be happening because, like you said, you nailed the strategy here tonight, and just that one mistake, man. Ugh.
Yeah, it's I wish we did more of these road course races. Something I excel at, and it's a lot of fun. Max beats up on us enough on the oval side of things, so I try to beat up on everybody on the road side of things. And unfortunately, this time wasn't my night, but I'll take second place. It's been a good season so far with a lot of consistent finishes. So see if we can take it to the second half of the season.
Yeah, that hopefully you can, coming into tonight tied with fifth in points, and I think you should jump all the way up to about fourth in points with a good run here, and definitely will give you a little bit of cushion with that cutoff. Now only 4 races away.
Yeah, so I think I'm in a pretty good spot. I got some good tracks coming up. I can't remember what order they're in, but this season schedule um, had some of my favorite tracks on there. So hopefully we can maybe sneak in a win, so you don't have to worry about points here in the next 4.
Yeah, that would be the ultimate. Tonight came oh so close, but yeah, next week we head to the Milwaukee Mile. How do you feel about that place? Another kind of flat track like tonight, but of course, kind of drives like a short track.
I don't mind the Milwaukee Mile. We're in the Gen 4 car for that one, now that you say that. So that'll be a challenge, just being that much horsepower for that car. It's going to be tricky to keep it going straight.
Yeah, that it will with those kind of flat sweeping corners. We'll see who can be the most gentle with that right side pedal.
Oh yeah, and I have a Thunderfoot, so it's going to take a little bit of practice for me to figure it out.
Oh yeah, then it definitely will. Well, Zach, you've been on a pretty good streak here, I believe, talking to me quite a bit this regular season here and keeping up the streak. Another podium finish. I mean, that's at least like we talked about before, definitely helping the point situation. And I think it's only a matter of time before you find yourself in that right spot to be talking to me one spot better.
That is the goal, yes, sir.
Alrighty, Zach. Well, always a pleasure talking to you here, but before we let you go, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank either on this 8 machine or watching at home.
Can't thank the guys at Red Light Racing enough for putting on a series for us. Josh and all the admins. It's my one night that I have free that I don't really have something going on, and so it worked out. Rich DPC for building the PC for me because I'm too illiterate to figure out how to do it myself. And then thanks to you, Brett, for putting on the broadcast for us. It's always fun to go back and watch the next day.
Oh, yeah. Tonight was a good one. You and Max putting on a barn burner to that finish. But, Zach, we will let you go. Go probably not so much celebrate a second place, but still got to feel all right to walk away with P number 2 at a road course.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty, that was our runner-up finisher, Zach Mitchell. Now we'll head down to Victory Lane here at COTA and talk to the man of the hour, that being Max Terriel in the 42. Max, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth.
Hey, Brett.
Alrighty, man. Heck of a race for the win there, coming down to the last lap. Tell us about your race and how you managed to set that on up.
I felt like it was 2 races within one. The first half, being close to Zach, I experienced more aero push than I expected for a road course, especially on the long straights, fast braking zones. I didn't have as much downforce as I expected, and I burned up the tires the first probably 15 laps. And then my focus the last 10 laps or the last 12 laps around that number was to just keep the right rear, both rear tires under me the most. And yeah, and then the last 2 laps, that's where I went all out, and I still had some meat left on the tires, which made the difference.
Yeah, I tell you what, an awesome run for you here tonight. You timed that kind of run perfectly with saving that stuff till the very end. At one point, I think you're still like 3.5 seconds back with either 2 or 3 laps to go. I said, man, he's got to really turn it up, and that you did.
Yeah, with maybe 4 to go, there were about a little over 3 seconds, and that lap I didn't gain much. So it was either try to push harder to see what my truck had left, or hope for something to happen to him. And then that next to last lap was faster than I expected. So I just pushed a lot harder in turn 1 especially, and it kind of stuck, even though it wheel hopped a little bit. And from that point on, I was just trying to keep the truck straight on the acceleration to to gain as much as I could until the next turn, and then again and again until that long straight, and it worked out in my advantage in the end.
Yeah, that it did. And I gotta ask about that last lap move, Max, diving down to the inside in a very to the outside even in a very tough braking zone. Just a smidge contact between you two, but heck of a job, both you guys saving those trucks here tonight.
Yeah, on corner exit before that long straight, I almost missed the shift, and I thought I may have had not have had the run needed to be close enough, but the draft helped, and I I went for the crossover, which is the type of turn that's wide enough for something like that to be an option, and it stuck again. It stuck better than I expected. I thought it was going to slide up a lot more towards the outer curb, but it stuck. And then the next corner, that's where turn 13. That's where I missed the most the first half, and that's where I worked the most on the last 5 laps. And that was where I think on my inside he slid on corner entry, and from there on, I probably had better tires, so I could hold him off.
Well, awesome job again, Max, here tonight, picking up your 4th win of this season. And I assume you're already kind of looking forward to those playoffs locked on in. I mean, what race are you looking forward to the most when it comes playoff time?
I haven't checked the schedule for the playoffs yet, but we still have about 3 races left before then, so we will see one of each car until the playoff starts. So it'll be about learning, like next week, learning about the Gen 4 car. We don't have that many races in our books with that car since it's relatively new to the service. So week by week, we'll just see how updates may have affected the setups or the physics or whatever. And then when the playoff starts, it's kind of consistency, but also taking advantage if there's an opportunity to win.
I like it, Mac, taking it week by week, even though, locked on in, still doing it the right way. So, Max, once again here, congrats on another podium, another win for you. But before we let you go and continue to celebrate here down in Victory Lane at Coda, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank, either tuning on in to the broadcast or who may be on this 42 machine that makes this thing so fast each week.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Thanks to you for broadcasting. I know these road courses, so much can happen left and right, and it takes a good team to cover all of what's happening on the racetrack. So thanks to you for the broadcast and the camera view and all that. And as usual, my fiance, my friend Max from Maxim Knitting on my car, and my dad, Josh James and Richard, for running this Scrambler series on Monday nights. Bob Higgins for Checkered Flag Auto Supply sponsorship. Much appreciated. Every season we can count on him for support, so it goes a long way. So and on that, well, we'll see you guys next week at Milwaukee.
Yep, sounds like a plan, Max. You have yourself a great rest of the night, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here in the future.
Have a good one.
You as well. Alrighty, folks, that was our winner down from Victory Lane here in the Claws Up Charters post-race show. Max Theriault picking up another win in the regular season. Let's run on through tonight's finishing result. Max Theriault, Zach Mitchell, Mike Trevarthen rounding out the top 3. Finishing P, number 4 will be the 88 of Sean Butler. Rounding out the top 5 will be the 62 of Ethan Troutman. Finishing P, number 6 will be the 98 of Ryan O'Danny. 7th going to the 9 of William Kirk. 8th going to the 11 of Sean Single. 9th is the 01 of Richard Murdoch. And rounding out the top 10 here tonight will be Trent Powder in the 18. 11th going to the 64 of Jason Wells. 12th, the 45 of Ben Coltes. 13th will be the 61 of Dalton Williamson. 14th will be Brandon Feeney in the 38. Rounding out the top 15 will be Ken Allen in the 81. Tim Combs in the 17 will finish 16th. Then Tony Strano in the 3 will finish 17th. 18th going to Rob Higgins in the 40. 19th going to Bob Higgins in the 30. 20th will be Josh Buckley, and 21st will be James Skelton here tonight. Of course, got to give a huge shout out to all the fans tuning on in here live. Got to appreciate each and every one of you here. Of course, all the racers putting on the great racing action that we get to enjoy, and all the replay viewers tuning on in here after. We got to thank, of course, all the sponsors here at Red Light Racing that make this happen. That is Checkered Flag Auto Supply, Celeratus Legal, the Feeney Call, and Claws Up Charter. If you want to find out more, be sure to check out Red Light Official on Google and check out their website for what they have in store for next season. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth from Turn 3 Racing Network. Be sure to check out Turn 3 throughout the week, as we have a lot of great broadcasters and a lot of great racing action to be watched. Also, Turn 3 is partnered up with Premier Setups. If you want to be able to run pretty good, especially on the dirt side of things, be sure to check out Premier Setups. And if you want to support Turn 3, at least click the link in the description there. That will take you to Premier's. So you can even just look around, gives us a little extra clicks and some views and helps our cause. So that will do it here for the Red Light Racing at COTA. Everyone take care. Have a great, safe week, and we will catch you next week at the Milwaukee Mile. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.